Hello, sweet souls. This is DTO in the flow. And today I get to interview Devi Rose. She is a sweet soul sister, and she is an intuitive embodiment teacher dedicated to assisting women to remember and reclaim all of their multidimensional magic so they can live an empowered, integrated life of unapologetically, authentically, and to embody love as their superpower. As an alchemical songstress, Davy Rose creates music with the intention of activating and awakening the hearts of humanity to the peaceful bliss of their true divine nature. Davy Rose's music is a multidimensional, as she is, combining enlivening electronic vibes with the sultry, soulful sound of her vocal resonance. She has performed at countless venues, including the TEDx Women's event in 2019. All right, without further ado, let's bring on Davy Rose. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
So good. It's
Thanks
great
for
to
having
see you.
me. Good to see you
Absolutely.
too.
Totally. And one of the last things I read in the bio I feel is really powerful is that you were featured on a TED Talk. Tell
Yes.
us, wow, that's powerful because I know a lot of people, and I'll just show a few clips of that right here. And this is you.
Yeah, there I am. It's so surreal.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that has over 20,000 views. That's phenomenal.
I
Wow.
am just bewildered and amazed and excited about it.
It's so cool because I know a lot of friends and that have dreamt of having that stage as an opportunity and a possibility, not only to speak like you were able to do, because I've seen your entire video, but to also sing and share your gift of music. And so the intention of this 5Q interview for everyone out there that is watching, for you to comment, ask a question, share. That's one of the best ways that you can show that you appreciate the energy and the light that we are collectively creating. And we'd love to know where you're located. I'm in San Diego, and Devi Rose is in Albuquerque. So we have a multi state dimension of what's possible as far as connections. As you know, we are in this time in human history that is with this virus called COVID-19. And so we have cocooned, we're indoors, we are creating this new reality, and live streaming is more and more prevalent out there. And so we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm also on Twitch if you've checked out that platform. Kind of fun to experiment. And if you don't feel like doing any of those things, just give us your favorite emoji. We always think that's a fun thing to do. So a lot of people that have known you for years, Davy Rose, I'm sure would love this 5Q interview experience because they may not know the whole picture. Like they know you as the powerful wife, mother, songstress, coach, teacher, leader, all of these powerful ways that you show up in the world, and a dear friend. And I really appreciate our friendship that we've cultivated as we've been creating this song in the world, which I feel like I want to put up right away because I love, love, love the
Yeah.
artwork. And actually, check it. Let's see if we can match our faces on the side here. Let's see here. There we go.
I'm like, which way do I go? I'm backwards.
Totally. Yes. And so we'll speak into that song, which will be globally launched May 22nd. And so,
Woohoo.
yes. And so let's go back in time and let's do a little drum roll. All right. So let's begin our 5Q interview. Question number one. What is your journey with intuitive embodiment?
Well, intuitive embodiment is kind of a term that I sort of, I guess, kind of made up, maybe not, but as far as I know, I did. And essentially, for me, I've always been a very empathic, a very highly sensitive person, and I didn't really understand what that was or what that meant growing up. Moving through a lot of intense emotions, a lot of intense experiences and trauma and things like that. And when that happens to someone, they tend to leave their body. They tend to dissociate. And so that's something that has really been a part of my life throughout it. And as I started to, I went through a lot of different phases, a lot of addictions, patterns, let's just say negative ways of living my life that I used to cope with a lot of the things that I experienced growing up. And eventually, when I finally got to a more like I guess, my healing path, I started to realize that there was this disconnection from my body. And I started to tune into different things that I could see and hear and feel. And the more in my body I got, the more I was able to connect with my superpowers, with myself as a leader, as a way shower, as a channel of love. And so for me, intuitive embodiment is all about how do we get back into the body? How do we create a safe space within the body so that we can actually move through the world in a heart-centered way, in a grounded way, connected to ourselves, connected to the earth, connected to each other, and led by our heart, led by love. And so that's, for me, it's been a very winding road, as you know, and I've been through a lot of things. And I always say I'm a wild child. I'm a divine rebel. And, you know, I've been there, done that. And I think that it makes me, well, I've heard that it makes me relatable because it's not like I'm just this sattvic, you know, pure spirit that hasn't been through the, you know, this wild ride of a life. You know, I really know what it's like to go through the trenches, and I'm available to go to those shadow spaces. And that's kind of my work as an intuitive embodiment teacher, is to assist mostly women, you know, in how to reclaim their power so that they can feel safe and seen and witnessed and also loved. So that's a little bit about what I do. And
I love that.
Yeah.
And that actually is a perfect dovetail into how it sounds like that is how activated you in your personal journey. And then my question number 2 is, so what inspired you to teach and to have classes, workshops, sessions, one-on-one privates, as well as circles and all of these other ways that you are showing up in the world? So how did that come into play?
Well, that's an amazing question. Thank you for asking. I love it. So, you know, I started practicing yoga. That was sort of my introduction. Yoga and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle were like my two, like just baby steps into spirituality, to, you know, the enlightened path, the way, whatever you want to call it. And so I was just eating it up. You know, it was just like anytime I could get my hands on anything yogic, I was all about it. And so I was actually supposed to go into do my master's. I had just graduated with a degree in music education, and from NYU, and I was about to start on my way to becoming a social worker, getting a master's in social work from NYU. I had a full ride, and some part of me was like, you need to do your yoga teacher training. Like, you've got to do it. Some intuition inside of me. It was kind of the first time that I'd ever really listened to that inner voice. And so I did it. I went and I deferred, and had every intention of going back and starting in the fall to, you know, do my master's and become a social worker and do that. But it just didn't happen. I did my 200-hour yoga teacher training in New York City, where I lived at the time. And then I found Ayurveda. I did a 500-hour training. I was in Guatemala, and then it just spiraled. I found myself moving across the country with my little dog, my little puppy Dexter, and we went, the two of us, and moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico to go. I went to study at the Ayurvedic Institute with Dr. Lad, and it just kept going from there. And you know, I've accumulated multiple modalities over the years. You know, Ayurveda, yoga, hypnotherapy. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I do flower essence therapy. I'm a massage therapist, body worker, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. And as I started to remember more and more of myself and integrate all of these different tools, it was just like, it felt just so natural that I needed to be sharing them. And so under the full moon one night, I had this intuition: you need to be leading circles. You need to be gathering women together. You need to be bringing, and I had never gone to a moon circle. I didn't even know what they were. And it was just, I just was seeing it, you know? And so this is the power of remembering, you know, it's like, it's in all of us. I'm not some special, unique. I mean, we're all special and unique, but I'm not, you know, I'm just, for me, it's like we all have access to this, and that's what I teach. And that's why I'm inspired to teach, because I want other people to know that this is within them. It's not like I'm this magical like different than anyone else on this pedestal. We're all here together. There's no hierarchy. And it's like our job as teachers. And I totally feel this from you because you're such an amazing teacher. And I've been so blessed to be able to learn from you in many ways. Am I still there? Can you hear me? I feel like I might have frozen. Uh-oh, can you hear me? I don't know if I should keep talking. But maybe I should just keep going. So like you, I know you know this as well, that we are here to help each other and to remind each other. And that's the whole point, is that, we're doing this together. So I'm hoping that I didn't lose you. But you're frozen. Can you hear me? Oh, now it's just me. So, there you are.
Yes.
Okay. Could you hear me?
The power of live streaming.
Ah.
Awesome. So, yeah, this activation that you felt with the full moon, and I love how you're utilizing the terminology and the perspective of remembering.
Yes.
A lot of times people feel that there's some other secret ingredient or something magical about it, but it is truly remembering.
Yes, it absolutely is. We've done this many times.
Completely. And when you get into that vibration, that flow state, that almost like cadence, like a rhythm, like a song, there's a beginning, there's an end, there's a completion, and then there's a rebirthing, then we get back in, and it's just this, flow that happens universally, cosmically, and this galactic energy that, unless you remember that that's who we are, like we are star seeds, like we are carbon-based life forms, and we are in nature because we are nature. And it is a part of us to awaken that within. And, one of the ways that I can already witness you creating that is my question number 3 is like, so how are you with all these learning modalities and the list of amazing experiences you've already had in your life's journey? How do you synergize all of those tools and then create these sessions, these workshops, these circles, these classes? So what makes it unique?
Well, it's very guided. It's very intuitive, clearly. And it's very channeled, but I don't say channeled from like an outside source, because I think a lot of times when we think of channeling, we think we're channeling something that is not us, right? And for me, I also teach channeling classes with a dear sister of mine, Jamie Alcone, another amazing teacher. And we always talk about how really nothing is outside of you. Everything is within you, and everything without you, everything outside of you is just a reflection, right? Because we're just a microcosm of the macro, right? So we all have all of it. And so, for me, it's like I become centered, and I really intentionally ground into Gaia, into my heart, and I allow that flow, a flow state to happen. There's preparation, don't get me wrong, when I'm preparing a class, a moon circle, workshops, with manuals and things like that. But a lot of it is very in the moment, and it's just kind of downloads, and it's sort of inspired, and I just allow it to flow through me. And I love to blend things together, especially in my one-on-one work and my circle work. It's really like a combination of sound healing and channeled activations and movement, ecstatic movement, as well as ceremony and sacred ritual. I love to bring that in. And, really, again, reminding women that they are the embodiment of divinity, that they are the expression of the unique expression of God, goddess. And that's really, I feel like, what makes my classes unique, is that it's like an empowering remembrance. And there's no separation. We're all equal. There's no pedestal. And it's really a co-creation. And I always like to really say that, even in my one-on-one work, as well as my circles and my workshops, we're co-creating it. It wouldn't be the same if there was anyone missing. It's really important to remember that.
Yeah. And here's a photo that was on your website about workshops. And this is a great opportunity for the intention, the flowers, the circle, the cards, the light, and really like calling in and remembering and activating the light within us. So that's a really beautiful photo. And
Yeah, that's actually a picture of one of my altars. So one of my favorite things to do in circle is to create really beautiful sacred altars for all the women to come and enjoy. And that one I created, and then you can see there's little bits and pieces, because I always invite the women who come to bring something sacred to place on that. Of course, they can take it back, but we co-create our altar together. And so yeah, I love that picture.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And so I do want to pull up your website right now because I feel it's a great opportunity for people to see some of the offerings. Because about, you know, here you have lunar offerings, which are your monthly full moon gatherings. That looks really amazing and powerful. And also on your website, you have a lot of other, as you shared earlier, as a Reiki master. There's your Reiki information. Anyone wants to go to the website and then embody the goddess. Love that.
Yeah, that's a program I have, a one-on-one program. Yeah. It's
Fantastic.
a longer program that we can do together.
And yes. And then, music and poetry.
Yes, and we're going to be updating that soon.
Wonderful. That's so much fun. Awesome. So let's dive into the third question today. And that is, how do you integrate music? We were just on your music and poetry page, so I think it was a great segue into this next question. How do you integrate music not only into your practices and the space and the containers that you're holding, also like in general as you as a human being, like how do you integrate music into your life? Like what is that for you? And then we can get into like how are you creating music?
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, in my practice, of course, sound healing, alchemical sound healing, and in my one-on-one practice as well as in my classes, I always incorporate sound and movement and dance, whether it's organically through my body or sharing playlists and dancing together and things like that. And ecstatic dance featuring different DJs and different musicians and things. And I also, in my one-on-one practice, like I said, I began my journey as a music educator and a vocal performer so I've been singing my entire life, and I taught music for a long time. So I do also offer vocal alchemy sessions with women who are wanting to come back or really find their soul voice and claim their soul voice and be able to get into a flow state and maybe light language, or just being able to sing in a way that feels safe and be like they feel confident in that. So I love incorporating music in that way. And then in my life, I'm always singing. I'm always singing, and I'm always like, I love to play music while I'm making, when I'm preparing food for my family. And I love, my daughter and I are always singing and playing together with our, all the different instruments that I've accumulated over the years, and drumming. And she's such a little songstress too. She loves to sing. She's always making up songs. We always make up little silly songs throughout the day. I'm kind of a silly person. Some of my friends know this about me. I'm a very silly person, and I like to do kind of strange things, and little weird songs is definitely part of that.
Oh, that's great. That's
yeah.
And I'd love to, with your permission, I'd love to show a video that you recently post of your family playing music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be so much fun to watch. Okay, awesome. I will do that, because a lot of times people are like, "What are you doing during quarantine?" Well, here's what you and your family are doing, and let me see if you can hear that. Are you able to hear?
I can hear it. Yeah,
perfect.
I can hear it.
Yes, and we have some comments coming in from Chris. DTO, beautiful music and poetry. How nice. She says you're a fun lady, Devi Rose.
Oh, thanks, love. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Chris, I will say Chris is a super fan of DTO, and she is so supportive and such a way to appreciate the energy. So it looks like your daughter is just so into this. Look at her play now. Oh.
She is so musical, and I'm just always in awe of her, really. She's so confident and embodied.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, I imagine. Oh, I love that. And thank you for allowing us to see that
Oh,
of
thank
your
you for
family.
sharing that. Yeah, my husband
Absolutely.
is an amazing drummer, an amazing, musician himself, and working on his production and things like that, and moving in that direction as well. So yeah, it's been really, really, it's fun.
Totally. And it's a family affair. And I have that commonality with you where I grew up in a family where my mom plays piano, teaches voice lessons. And I'm sure my mom's watching right now. Hey, mom. And of course, my brother, he plays piano. He was in the military and he played trumpet. He was a bugler. He played in the military, played for presidents, parades. And so music is really transformational. It can take you in so many different places, different adventures. I mean, I've traveled internationally at different, transformational festivals, yoga events, and it's really powerful. And I know as we started out our interview, you've been on TED Talks and you've performed and in many different locations. And, we have this song that will be coming out soon. So this gets into question number 5. And before we talk about the song, I'd love to hear about you as an author. So what other projects are you creating in the world?
Well, a dear sister of mine, Ramona Snotio, we just released this beautiful book, I Am Whole. And it just came in. We had been working on it for almost a year together. And it's really a beautiful combination of her visionary art, her sacred mandalas, paired with my alchemical poetry. And the whole inspiration for this book was really just to bring our works together. We have like over a decade of work that we've combined into this book. It's 144 pages, hardcover, full color, just beautiful. I'm so proud of it. We did a Kickstarter in November, and it was fully funded plus a little bit extra so that we could get those books shipped out. And it's just so, I have it here. It's just so special. We spent 10 hours yesterday packing up books and signing books and getting them all ready for all of our backers and everything. So we have this it's so beautiful. It's so special. I'm really, really excited about it. And it's been such a beautiful journey to work with her, co-create.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love the title, I Am Whole. And so anyone out there that's watching, they're probably like, I want the book. How do I get it? Oh, even Chris just said, beautiful cover. It is beautiful. I'll show the cover again so people can really drop into the energy of it. So beautiful.
It's so beautiful. She's such an incredible friend, artist, mother, person, human.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful synergy. And I was, following along the whole entire journey that you took of raising funds for this. And so if anyone's interested in purchasing this, could they go to your website? Can they simply maybe send you a DM on Instagram? What's the best next steps for people? Could they still go to the Kickstarter?
No, the Kickstarter won't really be very helpful anymore. But and I actually am creating an Etsy. I don't currently have one, but I'm creating an Etsy, so it'll be super easy to get it. But in the meantime, if you're interested, a DM, an email, however you do want to send me a message, that would be the best way, and then we can get you set up with a book.
Okay. So
they're $22 plus, tax and shipping. So.
Got it. Okay, let me put that on the screen. So you have your website, Shanti Embodied, and then that's your Instagram. So anyone wants to connect about the book, and it's great to be in the process of the process itself. We're about to launch our song, and it's how do we encourage people to learn about it. And sometimes it's simply what we're doing right now, just sharing, having this personal opportunity for people to DM. You can go to Devi Rose Music, or for the book, I'd imagine you want to go to Shanti Embodied, which is your main company. And wow, it's really powerful. And I'd love to, because I know the video, I'm just going to show, because I know you mentioned Ramona's energy. So I think it'd be great to just bring that in.
Yeah, we made this really sweet little video for our Kickstarter that she put together. That's actually part of her expertise. I believe she went to school for cinematography or something like that, and she's an incredible artist. So she's actually helping with our music video. She's creating it. She's literally creating the video. So
nice. Yeah, it's in the process. In the process. Yeah.
And my beloved is the videographer.
Nice. So here's a picture of the both of you.
Yes, there we are.
Some video. Very nice. How long have you known Ramona? Tell us about
Oh,
this sisterhood.
wow. Oh my goodness. We met before Kylie was born. So we've known each other for probably about close to 10 years, I think now. And we've just got closer and closer and closer. And we just really, now it's like we're such soul sisters. We've been and journeying through motherhood together. She has 2 children and just
Oh yeah, that's
supporting each
cool.
other and working together and collaborating. And it's just so easy. It's so easy to work with her. I love when that happens, when it's really just 2 really heart-centered people coming together, communicating clearly and, consciously. It's just magical.
I love that. Yeah, and I think I've shared this with you before, and I'll share it with anyone that's watching. Is I feel like there's 3 main points that have been really prevalent in recent times for me. Is connecting with souls that have a shared vision, a shared purpose, and then collaborative and complementary skill sets. Where, as you know, in our situation, our collaboration, and as you just shared with Ramona, like she has the genius of not only all the other skill sets, but she's a videographer, right? And so then that supported the project. And then for you and I, like I'm not a singer. I do sing, but you're a singer, like capital S singer. And then I'm more of the producer and the musician composer, and then you are that as well. And so how we can find this collaborative co-creation, I feel, is such a magical, and you were saying this earlier, like even in your sessions you tell people like this is a co-created space, and that's really the power of poetry and music like you have on your website. And so question number 5 is about other projects, and you answered about the book with oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful project. And I love how, similar to when Himalaya did her embodied oracle card decks, there's a card deck, the
So
art,
beautiful.
the Kickstarter to get people involved, and the community on a global scale is so powerful. And so I can't wait until you get those DMs from people that are like, I want the book, how do I get it? So that'll be fine. And so the other project, and this is where you and I have been working on this for a few months now, which is, perseverance is what it's all about in the world of the music industry, right? You can't just think like one little, effort's going to give you a whole catalog of music that will touch, move, and inspire people as your legacy. Like the music industry, as well as anything, I feel it's about like how do you consistently create this. And so before COVID-19, you flew out to San Diego, and we went to Global BPM. Big shout out to Antonio, wherever you're
Yeah.
at. And we created this. It was like a whole other experience for me, because to be in the studio, because I know that you've collaborated remotely with different producers and individuals out there, and I have plenty of times. Even this year, I had a release with a gentleman that's in Sweden, and it was awesome, right? To say like, wow, through the cloud and through the process of, Dropboxing and all these, technical digital files, we can put together the energies, right? Because it's all puzzle pieces, just like your book has different sections of the book that is a collaborative that creates the wholeness of it. Or someone can do one-on-one private session with you, then they'll go to a full moon gathering, and then they'll do, the experience of maybe like downloading the song and watching the video, or, there's all these ways that we get to create that impact in the world. And so for me, I love how we've been in consistent communication, growing, learning, expanding into what's possible. So what I'd love to do is preview, will be like our global preview of Breath of the Goddess. And this song is such a special, powerful song, and everyone can see it. It's private. You see that? No one can see it. This is actually on my Bandcamp page. And so it's really a great opportunity for me to begin and play. And give me a thumbs up, Devi Rose, if you can hear it.
Okay.
right, we're going to, I know people don't want me to hit the pause button, but I'm going to hit the pause button.
Gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Yeah, this is a teaser. This is a little cliffhanger, right? And so, as you can see, it's scrolling on the screen right now. It says May 22nd, Breath of the Goddess by Devi Rose and DTO will be globally, worldwide. Boom, there it is again.
Ooh, there it is.
See if we can.
We both did the other way.
Maybe we can switch places. If I'll just like go, you'll be in like San Diego, I'll be in Albuquerque. Let's see if we can figure this out. Like quantum physics or something's going to be on our side. So yes, and again, as you were admiring as much as I admire Ramona's artwork, so powerful to see that and to witness. As I said, just the intention, the perseverance, the ability for you as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a business owner, as all these things that you're holding in the world, for you to have flown out and been here in San Diego to be in the studio. We had a 2-day session. So anyone that's a producer, musician, composer, or anyone that is curious about how to produce music, it does take like some good old fashioned, being in the studio, trusting that studio magic will take place, as it did naturally. A lot of sparkles, and you go in with a particular direction, and you stay forward on that path, but also like, okay, we can go on this pathway because we're getting like the divine breeze that's taking us over here. So it's like, okay, this is the path. It's almost like your North Star and your magnetic north, and going for that, but then knowing that there's a magnetic field of energy that's within us all. And that's how I feel like the results of the song really came to be. And it's such a perfect title, Breath of the Goddess. And it's such an embodiment of who you are and what you're creating in the world. And do you have any other things to say about the song itself?
Oh my goodness. It's been such a journey with the song. I mean, it's your song Breath, which is just an incredible song. And when we first connected about, creating something together, that song just spoke so deeply to me. And I was like, I know that I can really breathe something into this and just add a new layer to it and a new experience. And so it was just so magical. And I really, like you said, I love that there was so much magic when we, went into the studio, and the first day we kind of were on our path, and, what I had already sort of tuned into, we were really going into that. And there was so much that came from that. And then going to bed that evening, when I woke up, I was so refreshed, and I had this just illuminated, it was like light shining down. And I was like, light language, like, oh my God, of course. Like, of course, that's it. Like, because we were talking about mantra and like bringing in some Sanskrit and all of that. And, we had even recorded some, but I was like, it's light language. And so like, that's another part that I'm really excited for people to get to experience. That feels so potent to me. That transmission, it feels really potent. And so
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to get to hear and witness what people experience from it. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that for all of us, when we're in the process of creation, you're creating to create. It's almost like that Zen philosophy of like, why am I washing the dishes? I'm washing the dishes because I'm washing the dishes. You don't put any other meaning into it. And when you're creating, you're creating. Why are you creating? Because you're creating. And that's what that, you mentioned it earlier, and I said it as well, like the flow state that you get into, where all the chatter, all the stuff up in the head goes away, and you really dig into your heart and go deep into what's possible there. And because I love to relive these stories that we're sharing with everyone, here are some photos that you took on the day of us being in the studio at Global BPM. Yeah. Here's a wonderful photo. There's a couple.
There we are.
Yep. A couple of moments you took here, and then here's a great photo of me and Antonio talking shop, and he has such an awesome studio, Global BPM. So and this is where he offers. Big plug for Global BPM. Would love you, Antonio, and everything you're creating. I'll make sure I'll put his information on the screen. And yeah. great like skills and passion. And so check out, if anyone's out there that wants to have their music mixed or mastered or recorded, Global BPM is the place to be. So
absolutely. Cool. I mean, he's working on my, I'm going to be re-releasing, for those of you who have already heard the Illuminate Me EP. It's going to be coming off, like right now it's there, you can hear it, the original versions, but Where he's remixing and mastering all of our songs, all of the Illuminate Me songs, and they're
Nice.
sounding incredible. He's so talented, so wonderful to work with. I'm really, really happy to know Antonio. So I highly
Yeah.
recommend
Yeah,
him. He's so
he's
talented.
been Soul Family for so long, and he goes way back. Actually, a really good fellow soul sister as you are to me. Her name's Diamond, and she was at Miracosta College in San Diego, and she was taking a class on music production, and that's where she met Antonio. And then from there, they've known each other, I don't know, 20 plus years in like the house music scene. And our friend Francis knows Antonio. And so when we have like over our tribe, our community that gather, now we're gathering on Zoom, of course, but whenever we get to have those connections. And I want to make sure everyone knows we are live streaming. So here are some beautiful comments
Aw,
from people.
Mabin.
Hey,
Oh,
Mabin,
Mabin.
how are you? Is she a mother to be, or is that an old photo?
She just birthed her, I believe her
Oh,
fourth, I think
beautiful.
her fourth child. Yeah.
Wow,
She's an
phenomenal.
incredible woman.
Yes, that's beyond all this. Anything for me as a man, like there's no words, just like honoring
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's incredible in all the ways.
totally. And Chris says more than amazing. She is.
Yay.
Oh, and guess what? It means that she loved the song. Let us hear it again. You might just have to rewind and just only hear the minute and so clip. So
Thank
great
you.
question here. Well, she actually is more of a statement, like to have a song titled "Light Language."
I
That'd
love
be
it.
fun.
I love it. It's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Totally. And so I want to make sure that people can find you online. Make sure that they know to go to shantiembody.com, find you on Instagram or Devi Rose Music, Devi Rose Music as well on Instagram, which I'd love to pull up because, here we are scrolling on our phones, coming across content all the time. So you have this amazing, oh my gosh, I really, really love your branding and the first photo that you kind of kicked off your official. I mean, of course, you've sung and been an artist for many years, but this to me is like boom. It just really shows radiant, embodied ascension. And as you know, my previous album, my most recent album is called Radiant Energy. So when there's so much alignment that we have, it's
So
just
much.
like, yes, it's so perfect and pure and amazing. And you were mentioning the original song Breath. So a lot of people that have been following my music career have already probably seen or heard of my debut album, Nameless Energy, which started everything for my music career with, an endorsement with Deepak Chopra. And then I had Infinite Energy, which, as you know, had a series of singers. And then the most recent one is Radiant Energy. And so there's so many like ways that we get to talk about and share the power of energy. And music itself is a transformational energy. And music to me, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, is the birds chirping, that's music. A river flowing, that's music, right? It's us as these living organisms that we get to absorb that and feel that flow and the rhythm. And, everyone that wants to touch their heart right now, there's rhythm within us, right? It's a part of
Mhm.
us. It's our nature. It's our birthright to feel these vibrations. And we're on these, cycles, like, as you know, as you do your lunar moon gatherings. And those are a cycle of life. And we have our seasons, and there's this ebb and flow. And as we, gracefully age in life, there's different generations and decades that we get to live in that allow us to feel, being a child, which you get to witness with your daughter, is, different than being like a teenager. That's then different than being, a young adult. Then when you get into other parts and pieces of your life. And I feel like it's all about, and you and I have both been massively touch moved inspired through yoga. It's about your drishti. It's about your dharma, like what you focus on and what your intention is really will allow for the remembrance of who you are to come alive. And so it's really powerful to witness you in that, and for your music career to like really fully boom, like here it is again.
There it is. And I did it right this time. Like, here I am.
There you go. Hello, hello.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. And I know
Mhm.
you're going to be featured on Himalaya show next week in Body Freedom.
Yes, I'm
And
very
like so
excited.
many ways, like this is, you're like starting your launch tour essentially.
The COVID style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because no one's doing book tours anymore. But you get to, again, I want to share your book with everyone. I Am Whole. So here is this powerful book for everyone to grab it and have this as a resource for you. And then, of course, May 22nd will be the release of Breath of the Goddess, which anyone that heard that snippet, and if you are just tuning in right now, I highly recommend that you rewind once we complete this 5Q interview and listen again. And there is, for anyone out there, a pre-save campaign that we started, and we will put that link. It's kind of a long link, so it doesn't make sense for us to put it on the screen right now. But I will share with you that what you can do is when you see the comments, we'll make sure this is included in the description, is you simply go to this link, and then at the bottom it'll say Spotify save it. It'll send you an automatic email notification on May 22nd, so then you can ensure that you can listen to this beautiful song right on that moment. And I think it launches midnight your time. So
Yes.
it's almost like Christmas morning. You get to wake up and go to your Spotify, your Apple Music, your Pandora, whatever platform you love, and just be like, oh, Breath of the Goddess, here you are.
There it is.
And yes, it's available. And I love the synchronicity of like it's May 22, it's 2020, it's all about 2020 vision. The two of us created it, and of course with a team of supporters. And so I love this opportunity for us to talk about the song and really allow for anyone that's listening right now to get to know who you are, and to know that you offer a lot of your services remotely, that you don't have to live in Albuquerque. Just like for me, you don't have to live in San Diego if you want to learn some of the skill sets that I teach. And same with Davy Rose. You can reach out to us on our websites, and Instagram, I feel, is a great opportunity to DM and just say hello. And we'll be posting some of this interview on that platform as well. So any closing words?
Mm. Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, for your generosity, and for the way that you shine and share and just really embody that infinite energy, that radiant energy, that nameless, ineffable energy. It's just, really such a blessing to co-create with you. And I really am just so honored to know you, to call you brother, to call you friend. And yeah, really, really
Thank you,
grateful.
sister.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
that
you.
acknowledgement. That's received. And the feedback is that I appreciate and honor you. And as you said earlier in our interview, we're truly reflections of one another, and how we get to show up. And the inner world is the outer world, inner space, outer space, right? It's all connected. So
Yes.
wonderful. So
Yeah.
everyone out there, make sure that you pick up a copy of the book, I Am Whole. As you can see scrolling below here, and above, we have Davy Rose with us today, and Breath of the Goddess will be out May 22nd. And thank you everyone that has been listening. And again, the best compliment you could have for us is to share this so you can inspire other people out there that may not have access to this kind of art, to this kind of healing work in the world. And truly, what we're offering is holistic health and awareness and remembrance of who we are. And that's a whole unique pathway that hasn't really been the mainstream in this country. And so I feel like there's a lot of, as Himalayas, besides calling yourself a light worker, she likes to use the term now, light leader. So we get the
Mm.
lead forward in what's possible, and whatever trauma, pain, fear that is showing up for people, especially during this world pandemic, I feel like people are leaning deeper into their own heart, their own space, their own truth, and with music and books that inspire. It's all a collaborative experience. And so I appreciate everyone for watching. And oh, here we go. Chris says, thank you for sharing. Best wishes. Same to you.
Thank you. Thanks for being
Awesome.
here.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Davy Rose. And of course, we'll stay in contact as we have been ramping up. This is a
Yeah.
part of the big ramp to the big launching it out into the world. And it's such a phenomenal feeling, I'll say, like for this to be a debut for you, because once your creations are out there, it's just like that's the foundation. Then it's going to go more and more and on and on. And so just May 22nd, I know is going to be this like really powerful date for you, because once it's 2021, 2022, 2023, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is when all of this began. So I appreciate
Yes.
you courageously going for it, right? Because you have so many other things you're balancing in your life, and for you to say, yes, this matters. So appreciate you showing up, and your third, your throat chakra, as well as your third eye, all of it together, all your chakras are activated.
All the
Appreciate you.
chakras.
Yes, it's all coming together. Awesome, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
You're welcome. Bless